So still made some money on the deal, but you could have had four more of those, no, five more of those houses. Those houses, that house that she bought is now worth $600,000. That investment would have been over $3 million now. Why? Because I treated it, and remember, I am not a dumb person. I'm not necessarily, uh, I don't necessarily have the highest EQ, but I have a pretty high IQ. But my mistake was I treated that as house money, and basically I was trying to get to $10 million quickly so that I could retire early. That was the plan. If Monica and Bill Clinton had not decided to do the dirty in the Oval House, I probably would have ended up with over $10 million with that investment, given how U.S. market turned out later on. But stuff happens. The problem was not with the position itself. The problem was with the size of the position. Then I learned that day that you have to do a test. You ask yourself a question. If I do this and something really goes wrong, unexpected, how much loss would make you cry? If the answer is 100,000, you made too much, you took too much risk. If the answer is only 50, your position, my position should have been 1/8 of that. That's the question. But I never asked the question, what is my value at risk? What would make me unhappy? Well, why? I had this bias. It was house money. You know, even if I lost, I wasn't going to lose anything, right? But it's my money. Once you have that money in your account, doesn't matter. I mean, of course, the wealth effect also has a effect here. The job that I took, I was guaranteed $250,000 a year plus any bonuses I can get. Of course, when Russia happened, we couldn't get the bonuses. I already feel wealthy, so possibly losing 400 more did not make me scared. It should have, but it had not. So don't go into those biases. Once you have the money, it's your money. Okay? It doesn't matter that you got lucky or you were good. Of course, my second bias was I thought way too much of myself. I am not known for my humility anyway, but once you start making money, your clients actually start mimicking your traits. You actually thinking, and excuse for my language, in trading floors. We have a name for those kinds of people. We call them big swinging Richards. Let me put it that way. That's how they treat you. Okay. When everybody in the trading floor thinks you're a half god, you kind of start thinking that, right? You should you should give, whether you believe in a god or not, you should give God some credit. Some of it is due to God. Maybe some of it is due to you, but typically it's a mixture. I just got lucky. I mean, the stuff started even before. Uh, I had kind of started day trading on dollar yen, dollar Deutschmark, dollar pound. First, I started small amounts. Since I worked at a bank, I basically did all of these commission and bid offer spread free. I started with $100,000 positions. With a $100,000 position, even if dollar Deutschmark goes from 140 to 141, the most you lose is 100 Deutschmarks. I was making good money. 100 Deutschmarks was equivalent to 50, $60. So you don't care, right? It's basically gambling sometimes. But every time I do a trade, I make money. I go short dollars, I make money. I go long dollar, I make money. I even did cross currency Swiss franc, Japanese yen, I made money. for probably 50 trades in a row. Everything I do makes money. Suddenly, my clients look at me, man, we gotta follow this guy. And since they're my clients, I have to tell them what I'm doing. So these are my risks. Whether or not you follow is your business. They said, whatever you do twice for me. Okay. Of course, that also generates a lot of business. And eventually, I increased the positions to $250,000, $500,000, $1 million. I accumulated over $30,000 in trading profits. A lot of my trades were in yen. I was actually a millionaire in yen. When you do a dollar yen trade, your profits are deposited as yens. Of course, 1 million yen is essentially those days $10,000. So I had over 3 million yen in my account. One day, I took a position $1 million in dollar yen. It went against me. I said, what do you mean it went against me? This can't happen to me, right? You have all that confidence. Plus, I think I have the hot hand. That's one of the biases as well. This is also very common in basketball shooters. If they make 3 shots in a row, they think they're going to make the next one, right? Anyway, instead of taking my loss, I doubled up the position to $2 million. Went up against me. I went up to 5, right? I am invincible. I can't be beat. And when the loss went up to $20,000, I closed the position. And had I not closed that position that day, I would have lost an additional $20,000 I did not have. My problem was I was playing with the house money. That's your money. That's my $25,000. I could have bought a brand new car for my wife with that money alone, right? I just chose not to. We lived in Istanbul. Driving in a city of 17 million typically is not a good idea. So I didn't feel the need. If we lived in Lexington, I probably would have bought that car. But either way, even though I am not of average intelligence, I still made that mistake because it is kind of, especially in men, it is an ingrained bias. A, you think too much of yourself and you like taking risks a lot more and you like the action. Technically speaking, it's not gambling, but it is gambling. That was the behavioral bias. And even with that, whatever that's remained from those trading profits, I still made that into $500,000. Think about it. Let's say I hadn't closed that position early enough. I still would have left $20,000 trading profits. If I had done the same thing with the yen option trades later, instead of $500,000, I would have had $2 million. I probably would not have risked $2 million. See what it cost me? All because of not being aware of your limitations. I mean, I always have been a big fan of Clint Eastwood, not politically, but as an actor. You guys know his movie Dirty Harry, Magnum Force? Clint Eastwood. This is a 1972 movie. At the end of the movie, he ends up killing Hal Holbrook, and he finishes the movie. A man's got to know his limitations. It doesn't matter how smart you are, you got to know your limitations. Women are better at this than men, but you have to know that you could harm yourself that way. Another one is loss aversion. This is a lot more complex. Let's say you bought a stock and stock lost in value. And you think, if I don't sell the stock, I haven't lost any money. I still have 100 shares of the stock. But there may be a good reason for that loss. Maybe it's a good idea to sell it now and buy it back later at a lower price. Maybe, who knows? But a lot of people who buy a stock at $100, it goes down to $50, they decide, I'm not going to realize my loss. Why? Because it hurts them to realize that loss. Your stock does not care at what price you bought it. A rational person would ask herself or himself the following question. If I had not bought this stock, and right now I'm looking at $50, would I have bought this stock at $50? If the answer is yes, keep the stock. If the answer is no, sell the stock. It's that different. It doesn't matter whether you bought it at $10 or $100. Your portfolio doesn't know anything about your buying costs. I mean, unless you bought it on margin, you get a margin call, those are different stories. But you put in $100 of your own money, it's now worth 50. It doesn't matter. Your cost is yesterday's close. You know why?